How are we getting on, folks? Look at the last day. We I think it was Fairy House in Catterick. We did pretty all right. We had three winners and a non-runner in Catterick out of 7 races, so that's as close to a 50% strike rate as you could get. Then in Fairy House didn't necessarily go to plan, but we got a nice each way land there with Alco Rouge there when it drifted out to 12-1. Moving on then to tomorrow in Clonmel, it's certainly looking like well, it's up in the air really. Like, we don't really know whether it's going to go ahead or not, but should it go ahead, should it pass the test? If it was today, it probably wouldn't, but look, I'm hoping there's a bit of light at the end of the tunnel anyway, and hopefully it's going to go ahead. But I've done my research. I've looked into last year's meeting, tried to pick out the best prices as I possibly can, but look, at overall, it certainly looks like it's going to be a nice day for a bit of profit anyway. Starting off today at the 12.50, I'm going to side with Willie Mullins here, really. Like, as a no-bet race, Manito Park should be winning this at 1-2. Realistically, it's the best mare of the race. She should be well above the standard of horses here. Look, it's hard to know, simply because last year they fancied very much so Getaway Gorgeous, and Getaway Gorgeous went off a fairly sharp price. But she was nabbed on the line by a Quealy horse. Now, that horse was Ishka Sullis, who's since gone on to do pretty well for herself altogether. But Quealy's have a horse in here, Robin the Glory at 14-1. Could be worth a bit of an each way there, but overall, it certainly needs to find a hell of a lot more to trouble Manito Park here. I can't see Manito Park being beaten, and a 1-2, it's a price that I wouldn't necessarily be going on, simply because it's just really short at the end of the day. 120 then, I'm just going to go with Dane Gold here, 2-1. Being pretty honest, it's a simple enough bet, but realistically, this horse should be well above standard here. Won a bloodless victory, beating the Bonnet, who won this race last year in Punchestown last time out. Now, it's still fairly well treated and it should be well above its mark, and I think 2-1 is a bit of a giveaway, but I still would be siding with James Grace's here. I think he's got a nice little lineup here for this overall meeting, and I certainly think if you're going to be looking for value there each way, you can't really go too far wrong with De Milano at 40-1. Obviously, look at it's an outsider's chance, but a chance nonetheless. And look at for a connection there that won this race last year with Debonet. I don't know. It could be worth a small punt each way, but when you're looking for winners, I really can't see past Dane Gold here at 2-1. Moving on then to the 150 then, I am going to side with Willie Burke's here now. I think it's Willie Burke. It's Burke anyway. W Burke. I'm not 100% sure. I could be totally wrong, but Cool Band Boy here 10-1 each way certainly looks to be a nice enough sort. Consistent enough, I suppose, when running on for places and everything else like that. Put up a couple of nice performances there this season, and it should be. I think it's still got a good chance there for an each way perspective there at 10-1. I think you could be looking at plenty worse. I think the top of the market, they're slightly, I suppose, they're not overrated as such, but the weight on their back is going to hinder them a little bit, I think, and it should open up the race plenty big for this Cool Band Boy. I certainly think it has plenty of potential, and look, it's worth taking a bit of a chance there, 10-1 for an each way bet. Moving on then to the 220 then, I am going to simply go with Cavallino here as my nap of the day. I know, I suppose, for those who've looked at the Irish Racing Hour podcast, I wasn't so sweet in it earlier on in the week. I sort of am now, simply because, look, at Willie Mullins won this race last year with Tiger Tap Tap, and I know insult was coming to him, but look, at potentially it could be one for I suppose, a step in the right direction for potentially maybe a Cheltenham race in a couple of months' time. But look, I can't really see past Cavallino here. I thought if Lord Schnitzel ran for Matthew Smith, I thought that was going to be a bit of a price and could have been worth a bit of an each way, simply because it ran in Grade 1 standard of chases and it's gone back down to Maiden Hurdle Company, but it doesn't run. So look, I'm going to side with Cavallino here at 7-4, and I think it should be very, very hard to beat. The 250 then, I am going to side with Willie Austin's here now. All the Chimneys, obviously, look at it's in serious form, and it's put in one of the best seasons of its life so far. Generally a better chaser than a hurdler, but the fact that it's gone up, I think, 14 pounds in the chasing ranks, it's obvious to see why it's gone back down into hurdle company now, off a mark 22 pounds lower. I think it's James O'Sullivan riding it now tomorrow, so he claims off another £7. So realistically, that's £28 off its back. Should have run over, I suppose, a chase and fence instead of hurdles. But look, I'm going to take a chance. The fact that it is in decent form and it is a course winner, I think it should be definitely ones that's going to be battling out the finish, and it should be certainly well worth 7-2 anyway for a good run for your money. Next race then, the 320. I'm going to do two horses here for this one, simply because both of these horses won at this meeting last year. I think Debonet, obviously, if Dane Geld wins in the second race, the one that Debonet won last year, I certainly think, look, that's form in itself and form boosted. Obviously, look at James Grace. He had a fairly nice meeting there last year. I think he's going to have a nice enough one again this year. Should, I suppose, Debonet definitely run tomorrow, it's going to be the ground that this mare likes, and she should be well capable of putting in a very good run. Obviously, look at the second last time out to Dane Geld. If Dane Geld wins here, I would strongly consider supporting Debonet here, but there's one here that I'm going to put in for an each way perspective here now, and that's Trump's Ace at 14-1, simply because it's it won the race last year off a bloodless win. Very, very impressive winner that time out. I think it's the only horse here that's won over course and distance. So look, that's obviously a big plus around Clonmel. Not every horse certainly likes the track and likes the stiff uphill finish, but yeah, I certainly think Trump's Ace is well worth considering there at 14-1, and it is drifting out, so it could be worth a small each way bet. But look at Tim Doyle is just he's not having a great run of things at the minute, and it should be. Look at it, it's certainly an outsider's chance, but a chance nonetheless. Finally, then, I'm not going to be going into this simply because it's my patron pick of the day. I leave a link in the description below for those who want to sign up to the Patreon. It's €10 a month. It basically funds the podcast that we set up there for just promoting Irish racing, basically, and getting people, I suppose, in the know, and I suppose looking at the outsider's perspective into, I suppose, the inside eyes, the ones that see all the what goes on and the workers in the industry and everything else like that. We've people coming in here from the likes of you've the likes of jockeys, trainers, you've stable staff, you've jockey coaches. There's a jockey coach coming up now next month, so that's definitely going to be an interesting one. So look at it, it's just basically to help us, I suppose, grow and help us get to places that we're looking to be. Obviously, look at Dean and Ryan are doing far better than I am. I've just been in a bit of a rut simply because I'm after hitting a bit of a brick wall at the minute in terms of, say, the patron side of things, but with the free tips and everything else like that, it's sort of covering my backside as well. But look, I leave a link in the description below. It's €10 a month. We've done our research. It's definitely one of, if not the most reasonable services you could be looking for. And we are over, I think, 40 pints in profit now, say, since we started up in December. So, look, if you're willing to support, every subscriber is greatly appreciated. We try and find the best horses at price points and everything else like that. And yeah, look, at overall, we just aim to try and make the people that help us, I suppose, financially make a profit. Basically, that's what we're about, and that's what we aim to do. But overall, I think that's basically it. I haven't really anything else to say. Please make sure to keep liking, sharing, subscribing. I leave a link in the description below, like I said, for the Patreon and everything else like that. But overall, that's about it. Thanks very much, and if you're having a bet tomorrow, the very best of luck.